Hello everyone. I have my notes here, so if you see me looking down, I will forget things, so I have to make notes to keep my mind straight. Took a break from painting. Did take time to put makeup on though. I have a new foundation. I have the worst time matching my skin tone to the right foundation. It's usually too light. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into it because I'm going to download this later and post it to my YouTube channel. I've had a lot of my friends message me or comment on my posts about prepping, what it is and how you get started, and some of the most common questions I get about it. So I guess first of all, I'm going to explain what I think prepping is and what I do when I prep. To me, prepping is just being ready, being prepared for a natural disaster, civic unrest, anything. It doesn't even have to be a disaster per se. It could just be your power goes out for 2 weeks. Or, you get stuck at home. A lot of people got stuck at home and couldn't go anywhere here recently. So, there was that. So, our prepping journey started when we got the recommendation to get a bug out bag ready, which is, 3 to 5 day supply, usually about 3 days of food and water, some first aid supplies, emergency things, stuff like that. So we started doing that, and then it just kind of, I don't want to say snowballed, but progressed from there to, well, what if we, had to stay longer, or what if we needed to be prepared for longer? What would we do if we couldn't get to a grocery store or even leave the house for weeks or months on end? So Eddie and I started talking about what we would do to just have things ready for our family, for us, so that no matter what happened, we would have food, water, medical supplies, hygiene, anything that we would need to survive. So that's what prepping is to me. It's completely different from hoarding, which, a lot of people started doing, the whole toilet paper escapade. Hoarding is when you fixate on having things that you don't necessarily need. It's kind of an obsessive thing, and it's not really with any objective in mind. Okay, so that's prepping. That's what I think it is. Some of the questions I get that get posed to me are things like, I don't have anywhere to store it. I live in a really small house or an apartment. Where would I put supplies? How much would I need? I'm going to suggest that you sit back and think what it would take to feed your family for 3 months. Just if you couldn't get out of the house, you couldn't go anywhere, if all you had in your house was all you had, do you have a 3-month supply? That's a pretty reasonable amount to start planning for. Okay, so that would include, like I said, the first question was, you may not think you have anywhere to store it. What types of things would you get? Okay, we're kind of got to do this in a series because there's a lot to prepping. Know where to store it. When you stop and think about all the little cubby holes and places you have in your house, you'd be surprised at the spaces you can find to put things. Think about those long totes, the long short totes, my hands here, that you can get for storing Christmas decorations, things like that, that you would slide under a bed. Those are so perfect for prepping because, number one, it's under your bed, so it's out of the way. Okay, it's not in your way, it's not taking up any other space anywhere. It is, like I said, it's out of the way. So it's great to find, spots. You can slide 2 or 3 of those under any bed. Now, you can fit canned foods in there. You can fit bottled water. You can do the dehydrated foods, rice, beans, things like that. There's a lot that you can fit in those little totes. And if you do, like, let's say you take each tote and you say, I'm going to put a week's worth of food in each tote. And you can usually do that pretty easily. So when you do your inventory and you say, okay, I've got 2 under this bed, I've got 2 under that bed, so that means I've got at least a month's worth of stuff. So, there's one place you can store it. Another place is, where have I seen people put stuff? back in the back of the cupboards, like if you have those weird little corner cupboards that it's really kind of awkward and there's nothing that fits back there, whether it's under the cabinets or over the cabinets, those awkward corners, those are great places to put extra stuff. You'd be surprised how many cans of food you can put there, how many boxes of pasta, you know, things like that. Those are good places to put things. No, you're not getting up here. Let's see, where else would I say? Under the bed thing is the best. Buy the, no, well, buy, but you have access to getting like the plastic milk crates. Those stack really well. And in your closets, like on the inside where you have that little weird space on each end that you can't really, you know, you don't want to put your clothes there, put 3 or 4 of those stacked up. And you can put canned goods, you can stack all kind of stuff. So there's all kind of places, if you think about it, in your house where you can put stuff, even in a small, tiny apartment. One of the main things I get is people think I can't afford to do it. I can't afford to get started. Which, if you go to those survival websites and you look at their prices, yeah, that's ridiculous. You do not need, I'm going to stress this, you don't need to buy those survival foods. If you can afford it, they're great because they last, you know, like 20 to 25 years unopened, but they're expensive. So I'm not even going to talk about those. Here's what we did. When we got started, we were paycheck to paycheck. I mean, there was no extra money. So I thought, you know, I can take $5 a week. And with $5 a week, if that's all I've got extra, with $5 I can buy a bag of rice, a bag of beans, I can buy a couple cans of diced tomatoes, I could buy, you know, a couple cans of green beans, you know, whatever. You can, there's a lot you can do with $5. So if you can, what's the word I'm looking for? I just lose my train of thought. Commit to $5 a week. Just think about what you'd have in 2 or 3 months. Even just buying, you know, like if you took that $5 and went to the Dollar General and bought the little $5 pack of Angel Soft toilet paper. Put that up. You took the $5 this week to go buy an extra tube of toothpaste and a couple of bars of soap. Next week you went and you bought $5 worth of canned foods. You know, Spam, chili, soup, green beans, any kind of canned vegetable. And we'll get into in another video the shelf life of things like that. You know, so $5 a week. I don't care if you are literally the poorest person on the planet here in America. You've got $5 a week you can devote to this. So the I can't afford it thing, trust me, I know what it's like to be on a budget and have no extra money. You can do $5. If literally you do not have $5 that week, go buy one thing. One thing you can put in your supplies. A case of water is $3. Can of green beans is $1. You know, a pound of navy beans is $1. A bag of rice is 60 cents. You know, one thing and put it up. That's your supplies. You know, so I'm not going to go for the I can't afford to do it thing. You can do it if you can afford it if you want to. It's not expensive to get started. Trust me, you can do it on $3 or $4 a week. You don't know how to start. I understand because I didn't know where to start. I started with, oh, thank you, sweetie. I started with just the basics of a bug out bag. I thought, what would I need to just survive for 3 days? And so we got our little bug out bags ready. And then I thought, okay, I can survive on that for 3 days. Now, what do I need for a longer term? Okay, so but you kind of come to a stopping point if you've never thought about it or you've never done it. It is overwhelming, and I get that. I'm a YouTube fan. I love YouTube. I have a YouTube channel that I post a lot of my videos to. I went to YouTube and I just searched for prepping and came up with some really great videos on, you know, what to do, how to do it, how to get started, where to put stuff, what to buy, how to store things, the shelf life. Some of my favorites are Canadian Prepper. You can search for him. He's really, really good. He's more He does give you some good tips, but he gets more into the societal aspects of it. Like he'll talk about survival things like living in a city or getting mentally prepared for an SHTF situation. So, you know, Canadian Prepper is really good for that aspect of it. One that I really, really love is the Alaska Prepper. He is so simple in the way he does things. Practical, that's the word I'm looking for. He shows how he preps, the kind of things he preps. He does a payday prep, you know, once or twice a month where he shows what he gets at the store. He shows how he makes meals out of the things he preps. So he's actually my favorite, and he's just got such a pleasant personality that it's fun to watch him. So not knowing how to start and being overwhelming, yeah, I get that. And so that's what I did. I went to YouTube and I found a few people that I really liked, and I started watching them. Another question I get is, what do I need? What you're going to need to survive if you have to stay home and you literally can't get anywhere. You're going to need food, a variety of food, because you can't eat the same thing day in and day out and not just get so sick of it that you'd rather starve than eat it. You have to have variety. What types of things are in your pantry right now, and start building on that. A lot of us have what we call a working pantry and an overflow pantry, which is my working pantry is what's in my kitchen that I use on a day-to-day basis. My overflow pantry is my prepper stock or whatever. It's in a different place, you know, just because there's a lot there. And I rotate. As I run out of things in my working pantry, I bring them from my prepper pantry and then I restock. So, you know, what you need is food that your family eats, a good variety of things. And, you know, like I said, I have a playlist on YouTube that's prepping videos. And, you know, it'll make you think about things that you might not think of, like seasonings. You know, if you have rice and beans and tomatoes, you can make a big meal out of that, but it's going to be bland if you don't have some seasonings. Things like syrup, maple syrup, honey, they never go bad. Okay, you can stock up on that. You can have oatmeal. Oatmeal never goes bad if you store it properly. So there you've got, you know, oatmeal and then a sweetener. Instant coffee. If you like coffee, all you need is hot water. It never goes bad. It just doesn't. I mean, it might get, if you open it, it might get the moisture in it and kind of get hard, but it's not going to go bad. Unopened, it's going to last forever. So, you know, that kind of thing. Think about the things your family would need on a daily basis. Then go from there. You're going to need water. You can only store so much water, so I'm going to suggest investing in a water filter, a good water filter. There's two on the market today. One's called the Big Berkey water filter, and the other one's called Alexa Pure Pro. Now, they're expensive to get started. I bought the Alexa Pure Pro, and it was about $160 for the system with the filter and everything. But one filter will filter 5,000 gallons of water, and that's years of water. Why I spent that much on it? Because that particular filter filters everything. You can go scoop up creek water, pond water, whatever. It filters out sediments, bacteria, parasites, viruses. It filters everything, chemical runoff, everything. And it would be cleaner coming out of that filter than your tap water is right now. So, I mean, if you can't afford that, learn how to filter your own water. There's tons of videos on YouTube. Something else you might need is first aid supplies. If you can't get to a doctor or, you know, someone, if you even a minor cut can be deadly if you don't have the right way to clean it and take care of it. Learn ways to treat cuts and open wounds and things like that. Learn okay, I'm not one of those crazy essential oil girls. I do believe that essential oils have a lot of practical value. Some of them are antibacterial, they're antimicrobial, antifungal, antiparasitical, and they will work better on an open wound than Neosporin will. Okay, look into those and find ones that you can keep on hand. because, like I said, even a small cut can be deadly if you can't get it treated. You're going to need hygiene stuff. You know, if you can't get anywhere and you're stuck at home, I mean, literally stuck at home, you're going to need some hygiene. So make sure you have toothpaste and toothbrushes extra. You know, you're going to want shampoo and things like that. You don't have to stock up on bars of soap as much. You can go buy the cheap shampoo. You know, that Suave and the VO5, it's like $1 a bottle, because you're not going to care about high-end shampoo if that's all you've got and you can't get any more. And it can double as a body wash. So there's a cheap way to do that. You know, think about your pets, the things your pets will need. You know, just look around your house and ask yourself, what do I use on a daily basis that I can store and have a few extra of? Okay, so, you know, there's that. Another question is, you know, my family's super picky when it comes to food. I get that. Me and my husband, we grew up in an age where, you know, our families were super, super poor. So what we ate was what was cooked, and that was all there was. So we have favorites and we have things that we like, but we'll eat almost anything if we have to. So there's that. If your family is picky, going back to your working pantry and your overflow pantry, buy the things your family's going to eat. And just stock up on that, you know, have some variety. And like I said, canned foods are usually good indefinitely. I have done a lot of research on this. I've looked at the USDA websites, the FDA websites. I've looked at manufacturers' websites and done a lot of research. Canned food, regardless of the date that's on it, if that can is undamaged and unopened and you open it and that food looks and smells fine, it is okay to eat. So stock up on your canned foods, you know, fruits and veggies and meats and things like that. Dry pasta, it just doesn't go bad. There's no moisture content to it if it's stored properly. You know, like I said before, rice and beans. So just think about what your family eats and stock up on that if your family's super picky. And trust me, empty belly is not that picky. So, you know, that's what my mom used to say. I mean, so, you know, just be practical. Don't buy things that your family's not going to eat. So that's kind of the objections. I just want to go over that today. I figure I'll do a couple of these a month to help you guys get started. On my YouTube channel, I have a playlist called Prepping. Okay, I have about 35 videos. It talks about, you know, the different people that I follow. They talk about the foods that don't go bad, that you can store indefinitely, how to store them properly to keep, you know, critters out of them. They talk about expiration dates. They talk about, you know, foods and medicines. They talk about growing your own garden. What plants are in your yard right now that you can eat that are super high in vitamins and things like that. They talk about safety. I mean, literally everything, every question that you can have. And I've done this for years now. So, you know, I've done a lot of research and followed a lot of people and looked a lot of things up. My goal is to have enough food and water available to feed my family for a year if things just fell apart right now. So that's my goal. That's what I work towards. You know, my family knows, you know, that I've got them covered. We know first aid and things like that. But anyway, I wanted to get this out there to you guys because I get a lot of questions and you know, the things like, you know, I can't afford it. I don't know where to put it. I don't know how to even get started. I don't know what I need to get. You know, what if my family's picky? This is just an intro video. I want you guys to message me if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help someone out. I want you to take care of your families. Make sure that they're going to be okay. Because you have to think, anything can happen. If the last 6 months have not taught you anything, then you're never going to learn. So take the last 6 months and everything that's happened. Take the people who were there in Hurricane Katrina, the hurricanes that hit Puerto Rico, the ones that hit Texas, that were without food and water and medicine. You know, and there are circumstances that are going to be out of your control, but there is some that you can control. So go to the playlist on YouTube. I'm going to post a link to it below. Check out some of the videos, some of the people I follow. Like I said, my two favorites are the Canadian Prepper and the Alaska Prepper. Then there's Admiral Preparedness and a few others, but check it out. Send me questions if you have it. I don't mind answering. We're going to do some more videos on cooking outside and how to do the rocket stove, which is really cool. If you don't know what that is, look that up on YouTube. Those things are amazing. You can cook anything on it in just a few minutes. So, all right, that's it. I've answered the objections, the questions that I had so far. I'm going to do another video next week and get into some more detail. I'm not going to show you guys my stuff right now because I'm packed up waiting to move into my new house. So 80% of what I own is in storage. Once we get moved and settled in, I'll show you guys the difference between a working pantry and a prepping pantry and how you use one to replenish the other, and then restocking and things like that. All right, kiddos, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next week.